welcome to the channel. My name is Megan and this is Millennial Meg's Health Spot. This channel is a sister channel to my first channel, Millennial Meg, which if you want to follow me for household decluttering, lifestyle stuff, my life as a mom, a counselor, somebody with ADHD, that is the channel for that. But this channel is totally and 100% dedicated to my health and weight loss journey, particularly my GLP-1 journey. So if you haven't met me before, my name is Megan. I am 42 years old. I am 5'5". I currently weigh 185 pounds after about a week and a half on Zepbound. I decided with my doctor a few weeks ago that starting tirzepatide would be the right choice for me. I am somebody who has struggled with food my entire life. When I was younger, I had a pretty good metabolism. I was very active. I grew up in Southern California. I did ballet starting at around 12 years old, all the way through my early 20s. I was consistently doing ballet. And so I was very active, very on top of things. There was a period of time in my life where I was a smoker. And so I think that probably, unfortunately, also helped with my weight management, even though, it wasn't the healthiest choice. So I was a fairly thin person for most of the first half of my life, basically. I was a thin person. But then in my late 20s and beyond, I moved to the suburbs of Chicago. I had a series of very stressful jobs. I had a commute. I stopped dancing. And basically all of that sort of led to me gaining weight. So I went from somebody who, in high school, I was probably about 115 pounds. College, I was about 125 pounds. And then as I got into my mid-20s, late 20s, I was creeping up into the 140s. And then once I hit 30, I had a bad breakup. I ballooned up to 170-ish pounds. I held pretty steady in that weight range for a while until I had a baby. Okay, in my late 30s, almost 40, I had a baby. And when I was pregnant, I think my highest weight right before I gave birth was 228 pounds. So that's the highest I've ever been. After I gave birth, lost the weight pretty quickly, some of it, back down to 190. And then in 2024, I went through this whole process where I got back on track. So I gave birth in 2022. 2024, I really spent that year working on my weight, lost weight, got back down into the 180s. And then that's about as good as it's gotten. So I did dip down to the 170s when I was trying really, really hard in September, October, November of 2024. I did a weight loss program called Body Slims, which was basically just walking an hour every single day and restricting your calories to 1,300 to 1,400 calories a day. That for me was probably the hardest thing I have ever done in terms of trying to lose weight. Calorie restriction for me is absolutely impossible if I am not on a GLP-1, okay? Before I tried tirzepatide, trying to lose weight naturally, trying to lose weight the good old-fashioned way was mentally, emotionally, physically exhausting. It was so painful. It was so stressful. It was so frustrating. My self-esteem was in the toilet. I felt like a failure. If you want to see videos of me in real time going through that process, I will link in the description of this video. I'll try to link to my playlist on my other channel of that process going through Body Slims. I mean, the mind games I was playing with myself, the mental gymnastics, the self-doubt, the self-criticism, the just upset around the whole thing was so, watching it back now is so painful. so painful because I'm looking at it now through the lens of somebody who has experienced what it's like to be on tirzepatide. Even though I've only been on it for, like I said, about a week and a half, it has changed everything. It has changed everything in such a short time. I went from freaking out, thinking about food all the time, stuffing my face whenever I was feeling anxious, whenever I was feeling unsettled, whenever I was feeling sad, whenever I was feeling happy, like you name it, I would eat, no matter what I was feeling. It was like a bottomless pit, okay? And so the minute, literally not the minute, but within the first few hours of my first injection, my food noise was silenced. And so I am just so optimistic. By the way, if you haven't met me before, something you should know about me is that I am one of the most pessimistic, practical people. I am not somebody who's generally a glass half full person. I am usually the one who's like, well, yeah, that's great, but here's what could go wrong. Or, oh, well, yeah, but have you thought about this? Or, when we rented a boat over the summer to go out on the lake, my first thought was to share a story about somebody who had drowned while renting a pontoon boat. Like, that is my personality, okay? So when I tell you that my first week and a half on tirzepatide, I'm taking the name branded Eli Lilly Zepbound. But when I tell you that my first week and a half on this medication has turned me into an optimist, I am not lying to you. If this medication continues to work the way that it has been working for me so far, I cannot imagine what my life's going to look like in a few months or in a couple of years. Like, everything has changed. So that's why I started this channel, to fully focus on my weight loss journey, to fully focus on the world of GLP-1s. I know that now, like, Ozempic and Wegovy are kind of, people are not as excited about that. My doctor didn't recommend that. He recommended Zepbound for me. And then I know, just from a little bit of the research I've done watching other creators here on YouTube, it sounds like the world of GLP-1 medication and weight loss medication in general is only going to keep improving from here on out. So I am so excited. I was terrified to try this medication. I was so scared to try this medication. My last doctor's appointment that I had my annual physical in December, and my blood work was not good. My weight was not good. My blood pressure has been spotty. I take medication for blood pressure. My A1C, I think, was 5.6, which is like right on the cusp of being not normal, like being above the normal range. My triglycerides were elevated. My cholesterol's elevated. My white blood cell count was elevated. I got a referral to go to a hematologist because my doctor was concerned about that. So that means I probably have raging inflammation. And so when he recommended this medication, when he recommended tirzepatide, my initial thought process was, okay, I'm going to take care of the hematology appointment first. I'm going to take care of, I also have like a skin spot that I need to get checked out by my dermatologist. So I'm going to get the skin check done at the dermatologist. I'm going to get the hematology appointment first. Maybe I'll make an appointment with my psychiatrist because my mood has been all over the place. My ADHD is raging. So that was my original thought, was like, I'm going to do all these other things first, and then maybe I'll try the tirzepatide, because that one seemed really scary to me. And all I had heard before that appointment was scary stories about the side effects, about, my mom's sister had a bad experience on, I don't know if it was Ozempic or Mounjaro or what, but that, I had that story rattling around in my head. I was just really scared. I was scared of the side effects. I was scared of the long-term effects, because the story that I've heard over and over, the narrative has always been, oh, well, these GLP-1 medications, like nobody knows what the long-term effects are. You're going to have to stay on it for the rest of your life, and that's a terrible thing. So before I started it, that was sort of the noise going on in my head, right? But then after I got the prescription written by my doctor, of course I came home and started researching, right? I was watching YouTube videos. Let's not overstate or overuse the term research, okay? I was watching YouTube videos, but very helpful YouTube videos. And I will link some of the channels below in the description that were helpful for me as I overcame this hurdle. But basically, I watched a bunch of YouTube videos. All of them were super positive, super, super positive. Even the ones that talked about the side effects, even the ones that talked about, being nauseous, having constipation, maybe being a little bit tired the day after their injections, whatever. Even those videos, overall, every single person that I watched was like, but even still, totally worth it. Even still, totally worth it. If I'm nauseous every single day, I don't care. Totally worth it. And then also the more that I kept hearing about how long these medications have actually been around, right? How long the science has been around about GLP-1s and what they've been used for over the years and how they were originally developed like decades ago, right? These are not brand new. These are not scary. These are medications that help with things like inflammation, that help with things like blood pressure, that help with things like sleep apnea, which I unofficially have. Like, I've never been diagnosed with it, but my husband would attest that I snore horribly. So after educating myself in that way, and just hearing from doctors on YouTube who share about their GLP-1 experience, hearing from just regular people like myself and their GLP-1 experience, particularly with tirzepatide, I was sold. I was converted. I was still really scared because I have medical anxiety. I have health anxiety. I am very nervous about taking any new medication, whatever it is. But I decided to just try it. Because what if taking this medication, taking tirzepatide, could actually help me with all of these other things that my doctor is concerned about? What if losing weight makes it so that my sleep is better? What if losing weight makes it so that my ADHD is better? I mean, I know that hasn't really been studied yet, but I already feel better. Again, even after a week and a half, I feel calmer. I feel more steady. I feel more able to concentrate. I don't know if it has to do with the tirzepatide or not, but anecdotally, that's how I'm feeling. What if it helps me not have to be on blood pressure medication anymore? What if it helps with my inflammation and my white blood cell count goes down? These are all things that I was afraid of and wanted to take care of first. But if I can get to the root cause of all of these things, which is my terrible diet, I was just eating willy-nilly, having whatever I felt like, way too much sugar. If I could curb that and lose the extra weight that I'm carrying around, what if all these other things are better? So that's what led to my decision to try Zepbound, to get that prescription filled. I'm so glad that I did it. I am currently using the Eli Lilly Direct program. My initial 2.5 milligram dose is a $300 fee every month. I get it delivered to my local Walmart, so I can just pick it up within a day or so of the prescription getting over to Eli Lilly and from my doctor. And then moving forward, I haven't really decided what I'm going to do yet. I would like to stay on the branded Zepbound if possible. However, as you increase your dose, like let's say after I talk to my doctor in a couple weeks, he says, why don't we try the 5 milligrams? If I do titrate up from the 2.5 milligram to the 5 milligram, and then, so if I do that, there is a price jump. I think that ends up being about $400 through Eli Lilly Direct. And then if I need to go up to 7.5, 10, 12.5, 15, whatever, who knows down the road, then that's $450 a month. So I don't know. I mean, unless I start making like boatloads of money here on YouTube, if that does not happen, then it is highly likely that I will need to start using a compounding pharmacy at some point, like a telehealth company like Orderly or Mochi Health or something like that. So I am not closed off to that option, but if I can stay on branded Zepbound, I would prefer it only because that's what I've already tried, and it's like a known entity to me. And I do have a lot of that health anxiety I was talking about. And so jumping from pharmacy to pharmacy and like different manufacturers and stuff, and possible additives and like if they add B12 or if they add preservatives or like whatever. I'm not opposed to preservatives. Like I don't think it's going to give me like, 5G wiring in my brain or something, but I just don't know how it's going to react in my body. You know what I mean? So I think what I'm going to do, here's my plan, could change at any time, but here's my plan. If I need to go up in dose, I think I'm going to stick with Eli Lilly Direct as I titrate up. And then when I get to like a dose that feels like that's going to be the dose for a while, I may transition over to a compounding pharmacy just to save money, because I don't, I mean, my husband and I are doing okay, but we have 2 kids, we have bills, we have credit card debt. Like, there's just other things we could be spending that extra money on. So that's my plan. This channel, if you're still watching, thank you so much. What we're going to do here on this channel, I've already mapped out my videos for the rest of January through the end of February. I plan to release videos on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So hello, this is my first Wednesday. I will be releasing my Wednesday videos as sort of like general updates, reactions to news in the GLP-1 world, reactions to diet culture, all of that kind of stuff, like just getting more in depth into different topics around weight loss. And then my Saturday videos will be my weigh-in videos. So that will just cover, how much weight I've lost each week. It will cover any side effects that I'm experiencing. I will cover what I'm doing to stay healthy, kind of what am I eating? How am I managing my exercise? All of that kind of stuff. So those are the 2 types of videos we're going to have. That's the plan. I'm so excited to start this. I'm so excited for the new channel. I'm so excited to welcome new friends to my YouTube world. I have like 3,000 something subscribers over on my original channel, Millennial Meg. I love that community so much. YouTube has been such an amazing experience for me so far over the last 2 years. So starting 2026 with this second channel is very exciting. I'm excited to have new friends, a new community, while still maintaining the old one as well. But I just feel like having a separate place for this journey is going to make a lot more sense. So I love you, even though I haven't met you yet, probably a lot of you. But old friends, welcome to this side of YouTube as well. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you want to follow this journey, and I look forward to seeing you on Saturday for my week 2 weigh-in. So thanks so much, guys. I will see you on Saturday. Bye.